Hey everybody, got another video here for you. So it's time to start another build. I'm still working on the X15 here, but I want to get going on another one of these pre-production prototype ideas I have. The idea is to to do something kind of like the purist barrel tuner, but not quite so radical as far as like all the weirdo stuff I do to guitars or in my guitar designs. So it's going to combine like a traditional neck with a traditional headstock and traditional headstock mounted tuners and a minimalist body and the new style swing bar like this one here on the X15, but I'm actually calling that like a Type 2 swing bar. And so yeah, it's going to get the new kind of swing bar, and it's going to get routed channels for the electronics, and it'll get like a splittable humbucker. It'll basically be like the purist barrel tuner. It'll have a humbucker and a all single double switch and a kill button, and nothing else. Just a bridge pickup, and no EQ, no other electronics, and just a plain old jack for output. But the big thing is that it's going to have a traditional shredder metal type guitar neck on it, and let me see. It's going to have a traditional shredder metal type guitar neck profile and heel. It's going to get the full heel and the regular, thin C profile that you find. The neck itself is a 14.7 inch radius fretboard Ibanez replacement 24 fret. It's one of those orange dots, and basically the only thing the neck is getting is locking tuners and a lock nut, and the guitar is going to be targeted towards metal players as far as like the electronics and the finish. And I figured they'd be, other than bassists, metal players tend to be more open to non-traditional guitar designs. But it's also going to have, more traditional elements like a headstock and tuners on headstock. So it won't be a headless or a no-head guitar. And let's see, what else? I've been humming and hawing about the shape of the body, and I think I'm going to go with something that's pretty much identical to guitar number 9, and which is the one with the cracked gold lightning finish. And but it's not going to. As far as the finish goes, I ran some tests, and I think what I'm going to do is Sorry about that. Camera ran out of memory. So for the finish on this thing, I'm thinking I'm not going to refinish the neck. I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm not going to refinish the headstock. I'm going to leave it like that. And for the body, if you recall in a previous video, I was commenting that the $1 a can flat black enamel paint from Lowe's, and Home Depot sells the same kind of stuff. So does Walmart, and I don't know if Amazon does or not. But yeah, your baseline big box flat black paint, almost all of them sell a white enamel and a black enamel for dirt cheap. So yeah, the black stuff actually seems to make a pretty decent finish, believe it or not, for a guitar. I used that on the assault rifle guitar, actually. I shot it with flat black, and then I put clear lacquer over it. I think it was some kind of clear coat, probably lacquer. And yeah, it was incredible. But on this one, I think I'm going to go with the flat black, but I'm not going to put a clear coat over it. And I did some tests for doing the flat black on the neck. Yeah, actually on this piece of wood, which I later did some like stonewashed black tests on. But before that, this was solid black and smooth, real smooth. As smooth as this, easily. And, but it was all black after using that paint on it and sanding. But I decided that I was just going to leave this way. So, so yeah, for the body, I'm going to go black, and I'm only the heel area is going to get sanded smooth, and the rest will be left less smooth, I guess. I might sand the whole thing. It's hard to say. So, but yeah, basically I'm going to be using the black paint as the finish for the body, and I'm not going to refinish the neck at all. I'm not reshaping the neck. I'm not recarving the neck. I'm not refinishing the neck. I'm basically just going to put some inserts in it and bolt it on and slap some hardware on it and knock out this nut and put on a lock nut. And yeah, it might need a little bit of fret work, yeah. A little on the edges, and make sure it's all flat and straight and everything. It's got a nice piece of rosewood on it, so it should be a good looking build. It's got really nice striping, actually. If we can get it here in the camera. Yeah, some pretty nice striping on this thing. So, yeah, it'll pop when it gets oil on it. Now for the bridge and stuff, basically, since it's got a headstock and it's going to have tuners, I could either go hardtail or I could go trim. And if I was going to go trim, I'd go Floyd Rose. But I was looking at, like, something that people would want to buy. And yeah, Floyd Rose, unfortunately, is not everybody's cup of tea. And the second issue with that is that I have yet to really figure out a good way to implement the Type 2 swing bar with all those, like, springs and stuff that you have on the back for either the Floyd Rose or a strap type trim. There you go, say that 10 times fast. So, so yeah, I opted for a hardtail, and so that's going to mean a floating roller TOM bridge and a string through. I was considering an anchor bar type tailpiece, but folks tend to associate string throughs with better tone, so I figured I'd go string through, because I'm interested in building something people would, want to buy, kind of a thing. So that's part of the reason why, I'm building something with a headstock and with a traditional neck carve and all that kind of stuff, a traditional sized heel and everything. So, but it should still be a nice guitar, I do believe. So for those of you who've never seen it, this is guitar number 9. It's a tail tuner, and it's got like a faux headstock on it, you might say. The string throughs are right there, and then the faux headstock and fretboard, and it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't have the depth pickguard. I didn't want to cover up all the graphics on the body, so. But this is the shape of the body that I'm going to use for the build. I'm trying to do this thing under here. Don't go anywhere. Yeah. This new guitar number 11 I'm calling it, for lack of a better name. There's a guitar 10 planned, but I decided to use that neck for something else, and 10 was going to be a leftover build, and now I've got other things going on, so more builds, which I'll be showing you or telling you about. But yeah, one of the considerations for this is if this is something that I'm going to be building repeatedly and selling online. Part of the motivation of this is like a kind of a backup plan in case I actually have to start making money building guitars. This might be another potential prototype, design for something that I might build for public consumption, as I like to say. But one of the considerations is that it would be nicer if the body fit in like, a 1x6 as opposed to like a 1x8 or a 1x12. So yeah, I mean, I came up with a number of different cool body designs. I mean, I've got like, the scarab. I've got, there's a curved tri there, and this is from an old build. It's a body shape that I kind of call the battle axe, or it's similar to one that I call the battle axe, but yeah. So that's another possibility. That was cool. That had a Floyd Rose on it, actually, believe it or not. As little body as there is there. And that was a pretty cool guitar, actually. I never should have taken that one apart, probably. But anyway, so yeah, now I'm just rambling. But yeah, like I was saying, I had a number of body choices. There were even more. There was like the Oriental 2 type body, and which is kind of like a wider scarab. And I came up with a couple other designs, but almost everything would require either like, gluing something up or using a 1x12 as opposed to a 1x6. And both of these things either drive up the production costs or they complicate the construction of the guitar. And these are both things to be avoided if it's something that you're going to be doing, as a business kind of a thing. You want the thing to be easy to build and inexpensive to build. So, that's the reason why I went with this shape of body, because it'll fit in a 1x6, and it also pretty much fits, just barely fits within the limits of the new swing bar and the classical position. Because basically you take a point right here at the center of the bridge, and you come down 160 millimeters, which is about this far, and that's where the bar is, and then it swings, and anywhere from here, almost flat, to, actually a little further back, anywhere from here to about 45 degrees back, where these pins are running, the guitar can't stick out any further than this on this side, or else it's going to interfere with hitting your leg and the swing bar and when you're in the seated position, in the classical position. The way that like Bodens and Strandbergs and all those kind of guitars, they have all this side of the guitar is all cut away. So yeah, the same idea goes on. You can't have anything down here if you're going to be able to support a classical playing position. Not if you want to be able to, like, you know, unless you want to stick the guitar between your legs, kind of a thing. So, so this just barely fits, and the bar, if extended, would come like about like this. Just clip the end. So it'll work. The body will actually be a little wider than this because out here, like about here and here, is where the kill and the off single double will be mounted into the body itself. So it'll come out this wide and then come straight, and overall be just ever so slightly wider. I'm going to bring it out to more or less the full width of 1x6, which is 140 mil. This is like a 100 mil wide body or something, so it'll be a little bit wider than this thing. And then the tail will more or less look the same. Same proportions, but for smidge wider body, smidge longer. The overall length is almost identical to this, though. So, yeah, pretty much what you see here, a little bit wider, is what the guitar is going to look like with this neck and a headstock and tuners instead of tail tuners. And then it'll have a roller TOM here and probably a quadrail. And I was thinking about, instead of wax dipping a quadrail, dipping it in CA glue, but not like dipping it, injecting it with CA glue, I guess might be a better way to describe it. Because I figure, you know, if wax stops stuff from moving and prevents feedback, then CA glue ought to stop stuff from moving. And you ought to be able to just shoot a little CA glue into like one of these quadrails and get it to stop squealing. When I've got all this new gear going on, yeah, it squeals a lot. So gonna have to do something about that, I think. But yeah, the bridge is going to be here, and it's going to be a roller TOM, and then it'll just get pins, string throughs going back here, kind of following this back round curve. So, and since the headstock goes this way, with the number 6 string being closest, having the least amount of extra length up here, that works out good with the ferrule for it being furthest away. Yeah, so the string that's closest on the head versus furthest on the headstock are going to be closest on the body versus furthest on the body. So they'll all be more or less the same distance from the tuner to the ferrule. It's kind of hard when the neck's not up there where it's supposed to be. But anyway, okay, I think you get the idea. I've done all the drawings and the measurements and all that kind of stuff, and I think the next step is going to be to cut the body blank. Okay, got the body blank here, and it's all marked out. I don't know how well you can see this in the camera. Let me see what I can do here. Alright, so here's our heel, this square area here, and it'll get rounded to match the stock heel. And that's the end of the heel right there. And this is the depth pickguard. Where's my other finger? That's the depth pickguard. Pull back a little bit. The pencil isn't very dark. Okay. here's the bridge, here's the pickup. This is the depth pickguard here. And then on either side of it are the kill button and the off single double switch. And then down here, yeah, this is kind of hard to see. Okay, that's the thumb screw insert for the pivot. That's the second thumb screw insert for selecting, classical or seated or whatever. I was going to put the string throughs down here on the curve for aesthetic purposes, but I decided it was better to have a optimal and uniform brake angle at the saddles. So I'm going to put them all right here, which gives me about a little under 30-degree brake angle from the body to here, and which would also be a little under a 30-degree brake angle behind the bridge. And then the jack goes down here, and here's the curve for the tail. And then the routing for the wiring is going to run from the off single double across to the kill, and down here past the pickup and the bridge, and pick up those two wires as well. And then it'll come down here, then run across here underneath the strings behind the bridge on the back side of the guitar, and then it'll come all the way down here to the jack. And it's going to cover most all the guitar, everything except for about an inch up here at the neck, and just the very little last tailpiece. So I'm thinking it's looking like I'm going to have to make a back cover for this thing that'll cover almost the entire back of the guitar. And yeah, there's like 1, 2, 3 concave parts to the shape of the guitar body. So I'll do what I can with the table saw, the small table saw, and then I'll have to take out the rest of those concave parts with the jigsaw or something like that. Just gathering up the parts here. I've got most everything. I got to order a couple things. And this is first glimpse of what the guitar is going to look like. So yeah, so far I'm happy with what I've got. It would be nice if it was not quite so boxy, square, whatever right there, but it needs room for those switches. So yeah, that's got to be it. But yeah, overall I'm pleased. Proportions and such look okay, so, and doesn't look bad with the headstock. So yeah, looks like it's going to be all right. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this video. So until the next one, everybody, have a good one.